The morning sun crept through the cracked blinds of a tiny apartment on the edge of the city, casting light on a scene that spoke of quiet struggle. On a worn couch, a young man named Evan Harper sat with his infant daughter, her cheeks pale and her cries weak. Empty baby bottles lay scattered across a table beside unopened bills. Evan's hands trembled as he checked his phone again, staring at the near-zero balance in his bank account. It had been 2 days since he'd run out of baby formula. His last shift as a delivery driver had been cancelled, and his old car refused to start. He'd pawned his watch, his late wife's wedding ring, and even his TV, anything to buy milk for his baby girl, Mia. But this morning he had nothing left to sell, and the desperation in his chest felt like it might break him. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of good hearts finding their way to each other, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Corner, because stories like this one remind us that even the smallest act of compassion can change a life forever. With tears blurring his vision, Evan opened his phone and scrolled through his contacts. He didn't have anyone left to ask for help. His family had turned away after his wife's death, blaming him for choices they didn't understand. He decided to message his friend Mark, who sometimes loaned him small amounts. He typed out the message quickly, fingers shaking. "Hey man, I'm sorry to ask again, but could you please send me $30? Mia's out of formula and I don't get paid till next week." He pressed send without noticing that in his exhaustion he'd mistyped the number. The message didn't go to Mark, it went to Alexandra Reed, a woman whose name he didn't recognize, but who happened to be one of the city's youngest and most successful CEO. At that very moment, miles away in a high-rise office bathed in golden morning light, Alexandra sat at her sleek desk, scrolling through a flood of business emails. Her life was a world apart from Evan's: private jets, luxury galas, and stock portfolios. But beneath her calm, confident surface, she often felt hollow. Her parents had passed when she was young, leaving her to fight her way up the corporate ladder alone. That morning, when she saw the strange message from an unknown number, she almost deleted it. But something stopped her. The tone wasn't spam, it was heartbreakingly real. Baby formula. The words echoed in her mind. She stared at the message for a long moment before replying. "Who is this?" she typed. When there was no answer, she decided to call. On the other end, Evan froze when he saw an unknown number flashing on his cracked screen. He hesitated, then answered weakly. "Hello." A calm, composed woman's voice responded. "Hi, I got your message about needing money for baby formula. I think you texted the wrong person." Embarrassment flooded through him. "Oh my God, I'm so sorry," he said quickly, his voice cracking. "That wasn't meant for you. I didn't mean to bother you." She could hear the strain, the exhaustion, the raw pain behind his words. Before hanging up, she quietly asked, "Are you okay?" That simple question, something no one had asked him in months, broke his composure. He tried to hide the sound, but she heard him crying softly before the call ended. An hour later, there was a knock at Evan's door. He opened it to find a delivery man holding 2 large bags filled with formula, diapers, and groceries. The receipt said paid by Alexandra Reed. Evan stood frozen, staring in disbelief. He called the number again, unsure what to say. "Ma'am, I don't know why you did this, but thank you," he whispered. She replied gently, "Because sometimes we just need someone to remind us we're not alone." Days turned into weeks, and Alexandra couldn't stop thinking about Evan and baby Mia. She visited one afternoon, bringing toys and food. The small apartment smelled of baby powder and hope. For the first time in years, Alexandra smiled from her heart as she watched Mia giggle. She saw something in Evan she'd long forgotten, pure selflessness. Despite his struggle, he never complained. He just fought quietly for his daughter's happiness. When Evan finally got his car fixed and returned to work, he found a surprise waiting in his mailbox, a letter with no sender's name, only a note that read, "For a father who never gave up." Inside was a job offer at one of Alexandra's companies, a stable role with benefits and child care support. His hands shook as he read it. That night, as he held me close, tears streamed down his face. The man who once couldn't afford baby formula now had a chance to build a real future. Months later, Evan stood outside the same corporate building, holding flowers for the woman who had changed his life. When Alexandra stepped out, her eyes softened seeing him there, his clothes clean, his eyes brighter. "I just wanted to say," he began, voice thick with emotion, "you didn't just feed my child. You gave me back my dignity." She smiled gently, "And you reminded me what being human really means. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to Kindness Corner. Every act of goodness, no matter how small, can change someone's world. Before we end, I have one special request. Comment below, kindness still exists. If you believe the world needs more hearts like Alexandra's and Evan's." And as the evening sun dipped below the skyline, a single text that began as a mistake became a story of compassion, hope, and the quiet power of human connection, a reminder that sometimes a wrong number can lead to the right miracle.